Hello friends, welcome to JavaEE EJB JPA tutorial. Now we are starting a new sub-series JPA entity CRUD operation. So here in this series we are going to look at the merge method basics. So this sub-series we will continue the code developed in the previous sub-series 3 as well as sub-series 4. So sub-series 3 we need because we will make use of the already created entity project. Then here in sub-series 4 we created some of the moving parts. I mean the JSP layer, servlet layer and bean layer. So in this sub-series we are going to learn the usage of merge method. So we will modify the existing project files created in these two sub-series. Alright, this is sub-series 5 is a 4-part video. Now you are watching part 1. So in the previous sub-series itself, we know that entity becomes disconnected after business method returns. Means it will be in the unmanaged state. We know that in the managed state, if we make any field modification when business method returns, entity manager hooked to the business method, or we can say the bean file, will perform an update. So the changes made to entity will not be in sync with DB during this state. During this state in the sense during this unmanaged state. So when business method returns, the entity goes unmanaged state and the changes made to entity will not be in sync with the DB during this state. During this state here we are referring it as a unmanaged state. So after the method returns, the entity becomes unmanaged, and in the unmanaged state if we perform any field modification it will not be applied to the database. So here comes the merge method into picture. The merge method helps to attach the unmanaged entity with the managed one. So that means we use the merge method and we pass the unmanaged entity, and the merge method will scan the database. Then it returns an entity, and the returned entity will be in the managed state. We will see that with a clear picture here. Here let's consider there is a business method, let's say it's fx, and in the business method we are making call to EntityManager.find, and let's assume it will return an entity E. So here the E will be in the managed state before the function returns. So when E is in managed state, any modification you make to the E will be applied to the database towards the end. And let's assume that we are returning this object E to the caller. Somebody will be calling it, right? So we are returning this E to the caller of the fx. So let's state that the caller may be a servlet or EJP, and the caller is making call to this fx, and let's say this is returning the object E here. So the entity object E is managed in the bean method. So this will be a bean which is having a business method fx, and this bean is hooked with the entity manager. Since the object entity E is in managed state, database changes will be applied here towards the end, right? But when it is returned to the caller, the E becomes unmanaged. So when the object is in unmanaged state, whatever changes you will apply, that will not get reflected to the database. Now let's say we have one more function in the same bean. Let's say fx2, and which is receiving this E as an object here, entity. So this entity will definitely in unmanaged state. So to make it say a managed state, what we can do, we can call EntityManager.merge method. We can pass this E here, and it will return a new entity E1. So this E will be still in unmanaged state, but the returned object E1 will be in a managed state. So what happens, the merge method, it actually scans this passed in E or unmanaged E entity in the database. So it runs a scan based on the key field. It may find a record and it will return that E1 here. So that's how the E1 will become managed. Not only that, it will perform a copy also. Let's say it finds some object. This is the key field, and then there are other field. Those stuff will get copied here. So if E is changed after this return, so that means here the object, unmanaged object, is merged with an existing row in the database. So at this stage, if you call persist, the changes will be applied. And in our example, we are not going to use persist method. What we will do, we will merge it, we will make change in the managed instance. And since E1 is in managed instance, in E1, if we make any change, that will get applied towards the end, right? So E is in unmanaged state, E1 is in managed state. So the change you will make here will automatically persisted. That means here an update will run. Alright, so that's the use of merge method. So we can take an unmanaged instance here, E, and we get E1, and E1 will be managed. Since E1 will be managed, if you make any change to the E1, which is nothing but a clone of the database stuff, and the modified field also get copied, and if you make change anything to this E1, the E1 change will get applied to the database. So in this subseries, we use the merge method to perform something called fund transfer. So fund transfer requires two accounts, right? We will use account 1 and we will use account 2, and we will copy the fund from account 1 to account 2. So here balance will get negated, and in account 2 balance will get incremented. So that's what we are going to do here in this video, and we are going to make use of a merge method. So this transaction can be done without using a merge method also, but just for a demo purpose, we will use merge method and we will perform the fund transfer. That's all here in this video. There is no demo here, we just learned the theory part, and in the next coming 3 videos we will make change to our existing subseries, I mean previous 2 subseries. Thank you for watching. Bye.